let's talk about warning messages in WizCreate. These are little pop-ups that present themselves in run mode when you have a mistake in your scripting. We've put a lot of work into making these warnings as helpful as possible. You should carefully read these whenever they pop up because they'll tell you exactly what to do to fix your scripting error. Here's an example. I'm going to put a button onto my page and an image object onto my page. I'm not going to bother configuring these just for the sake of showing this example. So let's say that when I push this button, I would like this image to move to a new position on the page. So in the button object, I'm going to go to the scripting tab, through the trigger when button is touched, and then I'm going to add a script from the animation and set properties section of the script library. I'm specifically looking for the script that's called set position, right here. So I need to tell it what kind of object to move and what the object's name is and where I want to move it to. So for object type, I would like to move an image object that is just called image number 1. And let's say we want to move it to the top right of the page. I could also make changes to the animation transition or duration, which would change the way that that object moves, but I'm just going to leave it on the default for now. Okay, this is correct. Let's run the app and test how this works. So pressing the button moved the object. I'm going to tap done to get back to development mode, and I'm going to add another script here. Again under animation and set properties. So this time I'd like to set the size as well. Which, pro tip, you can actually do this in one script altogether, but for the sake of this illustration, we're using 2 scripts. So I'm going to say set size, and this time I'm going to select object type image, but I'm purposefully not going to select an object name just to show you what happens. For size and the transition and duration, I'm just going to leave it as default. So now I'm going to run the app and press the button again. And this time I get this warning message. So you might have the initial tendency to just want to tap OK and get rid of this, but let's read it carefully and see what it's telling us. So the script set size is searching for an image name not specified. This image does not exist in the currently displayed page. Steps to fix this problem. Please edit and fill in the correct object name and type. Check in the scripts contained in, and so this is telling me exactly where to go to fix it. App, called warning example, which is the name of my app here. Page number 1. Button number 1. Trigger when button is touched for this error. So specifically, we're looking for a script called set size in this location. I'm going to tap OK and then exit run mode, and we're going to go exactly there. So actually, because I ran run mode from my editor here, I'm actually right where we left off, but if I wasn't, let's do what it says. We're in the app warning example, page number 1, here's button number 1, here's the trigger it said to look in, and the script that it said to look at. So set size is missing object name, we give it object name image number 1, and now run the app, and it works as it's supposed to. So I want to show you one more thing. Let's say that I had followed the proper way to do things, which is to select an image and then rename my image object, or to just rename it. So I'm quickly just going to pick an image to have in here. And now I'm going to rename my image to Daisy. So let's run the app and see what happens. This isn't going to work, spoiler alert. So touching the button now, I'm going to get a series of warning pop-ups here. The first one tells me that the script set position is searching for an image named image number 1. Remember, that's what this image was called, and we previously set up the script based on what its old name was, but we've just renamed it. So it's looking for something called image number 1 that's no longer anywhere in this page, so it can't find it. So it's telling me where to look to fix it. In the app called warnings example, page number 1 and the button through the trigger when button is touched, go find the script called set position and fix this. So I'm going to tap OK, and when I do, another warning pops up. This one is telling me about the script called set size because it also has the same issue. And that's it. So I'm going to tap done. Now I'm just going to go back into that button's trigger when button is touched. And you can see it still says image number 1. And all I need to do is go back to object name and select Daisy. Slide back and do that for the set size script as well. Now when I run my app, it works. So keep that in mind. If you set up your scripts before you have finished formulating your objects, It's not a great practice to do. You should get in the habit of naming your objects as soon as you add them to the page, and same with naming the pages and things like that. If you make changes after the fact, you'll need to also make changes in your scripting to update to have those changes as well. So you can ensure that you get these helpful messages by going to your home page on your WizCreate app through the profile icon in the top right. This is where you control your settings here. So if you happen to not be getting warning messages, make sure that this show warning setting is toggled to on. If it's not on, you simply tap it and it turns on. To learn more about the raw values, double tap to edit, and high precision grid options here, check out lesson 9 in the App Making Foundations lesson, which I've linked in the description. The only remaining setting here that I haven't mentioned is this Disable Editor Updates. To briefly go over what this does, this would prevent an editor from showing changes before you exit the editor. This was more necessary years ago when the processing speed of an iOS device wasn't as fast as it is today. If you happen to have an older device and you're experiencing lag in your app making, you could try toggling this option to on, but for most users, you can just leave this off.